Morning. I had somebody ask me the other day if I pre-cut my bread, and I wanted to go ahead and do this video really quick, and just to show people that I know when you get like a loaf of bread, and it's in a boule form, it is a little intimidating if you're not used to it. So I just wanted to show kind of how we do it and how some other people do it. And if you have any other suggestions, please let me know because I'd like to know. I'm learning something new every day. So, but anyways, let me go ahead, and what you want to do, you want to start with something that has ridges, so a segregated knife, and that's going to be your easiest thing. What I usually do, some people, they start like right here on the end, and we do that quite often. We start right there on the end. And that's fine because we'll go like, especially if all of us are at home and we're having breakfast and we're having lunch and then we're going to do something with dinner, we leave this loaf of bread on the counter all day long, and most of the time it's not even covered. The crust on the bread pretty much keeps the moisture in, and so that is one of the reasons why I don't like to pre-cut my bread, because I feel like it dries it out, and I don't want my bread to be dry. If that's something that you choose to do, you want to go ahead and pre-cut it. A lot of people will pre-cut it and stick it in the freezer, they've told me, and that's awesome. If that's what makes you happy, that's good. And I know I have done that in the past. Also, I'm just going to make a little quick suggestion, especially with the holidays coming up. I try to save my end pieces sometimes because I like to make bread pudding and I like to make my own stuffing. I can't eat processed foods because I can't eat processed foods because it's hard to be serious, guys, especially for me. But anyways, I try not to eat processed foods because they make me sick, and that's one of the reasons why I started my sourdough journey. Was it's flour, salt, and water, and I only use like pure sea salt. Be careful of your salt, guys, because there's a lot of things like anti-caking and stuff like that. I say this to all my friends all the time. They're like, yeah, I know. But there's a lot of anti-caking and things like that in there that doesn't necessarily need to be there. It's a preservative, and it can cause inflammation. And I deal with several chronic illnesses, one of which is 17, almost 18 years of fibromyalgia. And once I got processed salts and started researching and looking at, I'm going off on a whole other tangent, and I'm very sorry, but know what's in your food. Let me just put it that way. Anyways, so I try to save these, and then I make like really nice stuffing and stuff out of it. But anyways, okay, so you can start wherever you want. You cut this thing however you want, it's yours. But a lot of times what I do is I will just cut it slap down the middle, and I have a couple of like my like people who don't eat a lot of bread. Like, honestly, I don't eat a lot of bread. A lot of times I will eat, I'll go through phases. Like, sometimes I'll have like a piece of toast in the morning and then a sandwich in the afternoon. And a lot of times my sandwiches are open-faced. This bread to me is so much more filling than other breads. But anyways, okay, so there's the inside of my bread. And this is a loaf that I experimented with last night. I don't sniff your bread, I sniff mine. But it smells so good. I had a friend give me some beautiful lemon basil. So I put some lemon basil in there and some honey and some sunflower seeds. And it didn't fluff up as much because it was more hydrated. It had a lot more kind of water in it. So it wasn't as firm, so it didn't, you know. But anyways, I was experimenting. That's what I do with our loaves. So, but it turned out quite nice, and I like that. But anyways, okay, so you start with a half. And this is what we do a lot. We cut it in half, and that's how it sits. So it doesn't dry out, and then whenever we want, we come in and we slice this off a piece. And this is how, that's a little pretty, but prettier. But anyways, and this is how we do it a lot. Okay, so my daughter loves to eat these, so it's hard for me to save them. And then I just cut some more. There you go. And that's a nice little slice of bread with a big old hole in it. Those air pockets are nice, but sometimes you're like jelly falls through. Okay, so that's a nice slice there. So here we go. You got yourself a nice little half a sandwich right there, or a couple pieces of toast. But that's how we like to do it. We like to just cut it as we go. Keeping it in a sandwich bag, like the sandwich bags that, you know, not sandwich bags, the bread bags that I usually have with it, it will keep it moist. And I did some research on that yesterday, and I talked to some other bakers on some of my groups on Facebook yesterday, and they are so helpful to me because I've been searching for like other bags, because sometimes I'll bring you your loaf and I'll be like, you know, it's steaming up inside, so open it up and let it finish cooling. And I was looking into these perforated bags that you can put warm loaves in and it won't get that way. Because you don't want that bread to get moist inside, like you don't want it to get steamy inside that bag is what I'm trying to say, because then it puts like moisture on top of the crust and stuff, and that can cause your bread to mold after a couple days, and we don't want that to happen. So that's why I'm always saying, you know, if it's still a little warm, you know, because it takes literally like 3 hours for a loaf of bread to cool enough for me to put it into the bag. And then sometimes it's still really warm on the inside, so it'll, you know, fog that up. But anyways, I like to bring you fresh baked bread. Okay, so that's one way. And then I've seen other people who just take this half and they cut it in half again. Ta-da! There we go. And then they just keep on cutting it from there. Now that's a nice slice of bread. I should say so myself. Okay, so now that I've hacked my bread all up, which I'm sure we'll get eaten for breakfast this morning when my girls get up, this would actually make nice French toast. Anyways, I like to think out loud. What else is there? I was going to say something else. Cut, why? And I've explained everything. I never go by my notes. But, so, even though this is a silly video, and I hate doing videos because I don't like the way I look on them and I make silly expressions. But if you have any questions, or if you want to see something, or you just want to ask about anything about the bread, just let me know. I answer questions all the time, and it might be something that other people need to see, like how to cut my bread. And I'm going to be doing a little more exploring on how to kind of make your loaves last longer. These loaves last pretty long. I mean, I can have